to my cluttered garage. I'm really glad you're here. A place where we can laugh and talk and days are filled with cheer. The clouds and sun may come and go, but one thing's always clear. Welcome back, my friend. You know I'm really glad you're here. Yeah.
Welcome back to the channel. I am really glad you're here. This is Livestream number 23, and perhaps the most exciting live stream yet. So, thanks for being here. I see we have lots of people in the comments already. There were people here a half an hour ago, which is just so great. And I just am so happy that you're here. So, starting out, looking at some comments, Dave from RCAF Polar Express, I'm so glad to see you. I know you're very busy with lots of moves, and you mentioned there you're still unboxing, but I'm glad that you're able to take a break and be here with us tonight. I hope you're able to still record some content and do some fun things. Anyway, really good to see you. D6 Outdoors is here. Endurance V8 is here. Emery was on earlier too, I think, commenting on the little clip that I put out earlier. So thank you for that. I think it was you. Anyway. B. Hall, Watershed Overlook. Chris, good to see you. I hope you are doing well. And Caden's Outdoor Life. You know what, Caden? I was thinking of you the other day, thinking I haven't seen Caden. I don't know if you were here for the last live stream, but I hope things are going well, and I apologize if you've put out any content that I may have missed. But you're here, Derek Lincoln, and John, GP, Margaret, Jeff. Hi, Jeff. Hi, Margaret. Glad to see you. So let me get straight with where we are here. As I always mention, you can find my channel on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. YouTube is the primary channel, but on Facebook, it's kind of nice because we interact a little bit differently. You'll see some of the same content on there, but it's sometimes an easier way to interact kind of personally on Facebook than the comments in YouTube. But either way, they're great. Instagram, check it out. Put up a few fun pictures once in a while. I showed the bee sting picture on Instagram, maybe on Facebook too. Were you here last week? Did you see the picture of the bee sting? It was not pretty, but I have to thank John Ritter because he sent me a message and said, you ought to post that picture on Facebook or Instagram, whatever it was. So I listened and I put it up there. You know, you have to laugh at yourself. Anyway, if you're enjoying the live stream, I know it's early. I mean, maybe you're enjoying it already, but at any point during the live stream, you can click that thumbs up, and, you know, it doesn't cost anything, and it's fun to do. Remember, if you mistakenly click the thumbs down, which I think must happen because I get a couple, you can click it again, and it'll unclick it. So that's good to know, regardless. You know, even if you're watching somebody's video and you're like, oops, I hit the thumbs down, you can click it again, and it'll unclick the thumbs down. I think that's the same thing with Facebook. You know, sometimes you can click the little thumbs up, or if you mistakenly click the angry face. I've seen people do that. Like, I didn't mean to click the angry face. You just go back and click it again, and it'll unclick. So, how's that for a little technical tip for you? I do want to. I just did a little sound check. Talk about tonight's show because I am very excited. You're here because you know that I posted that my special guest this evening is Gord from GP Outdoors. And I'll talk a little bit more about GP Outdoors when I have Gord on here, so I can really, you know, inflate his character. But I owe a lot of my channel to GP Outdoors. The tractor that I bought, the Kubota B2601, when I decided that was the tractor I wanted, I searched YouTube, and lo and behold, there was Gord putting out all this content about the B2601, and I watched every one of his videos, and they were really good and helpful. So other than that, it's just a great channel. So we're going to talk about that. I'm looking now because generally the guest is in the green room, and I'm still waiting. So we can talk about some other things. Hopefully everything's okay in the background. You know, let me check my phone. All right. Hey, did you know, not that this is really big newsworthy, but today's Amazon Prime Day. I know that it only comes in the summertime. Maybe it's twice a year. Did you find any good deals on Amazon Prime? I did not. I did not find any good deals because I didn't look, because I really don't need anything. Last year, I think I bought some Ring doorbell security cameras, and I bought them like a month before Amazon Prime Day, and then they went on sale and were a lot cheaper. I could have gone through the hassle of returning them and then reordering them with a discount, but I just didn't want to do that. So anyway, it's a good idea if you need something in early June, just wait it out, and especially it seems like electronics you can get good deals on. I just saw a comment. Oh yeah, the bird is moving. Okay, good. Thank you, Anne. I started the bird before the show and made sure the cup was full of water, and he should have been moving all along. We've got some comments again happening here, folks talking with each other. Hacksman, it's good to see you. I see that Derek commented on your latest video, the Freedom Pole. What a great job you did on that with the telescoping flagpole. I like that. I was thinking telephone. That's all right. Telescoping flagpole. What a brilliant thing to do. You know, I hired a guy a few years ago. Little side story. Part of my real job is maintaining commercial properties, and we had a flagpole that was kind of sad, a big old flagpole, and it had paint peeling off. I hired this guy to paint the flagpole, and the way he did it was he shimmied up the flagpole. Like he painted it by hand. I'm thinking he's going to bring in a crane or something. The guy had a bucket and a brush and shimmied up the pole and painted his way down. Amazing. That is a trade that is... I don't know that one's going to be around for long, and you need to be young and healthy when you do that one. So especially the telescoping flagpole is going to put these guys out of business, right? Carrying on here. There's a nice comment from Georgia reaching out to Gord from Haliburton, Ontario, and been following for several years. Very nice. Good to see you, Georgia. Edward Joyce, good to see you. Terry K is here. And B. Hall did not find any deals on Amazon Prime Day. How about that? Yes, 2 thumbs up for the flagpole. Gord, are you watching? Because I don't see you in the green room. Check that out, because you need to be here, and I'm not seeing you there. So if you're seeing this, check your connection. Every night when I do this. Every time I do this, not every night. Well, every Monday night. I have this thing set up. I've got the camera set up. I've got the app set up. And I check it out, test it out. Everything works good. And it's always in that last half hour where things start to get stressful. I had to reset my router because I'm thinking this thing, it's taken forever. Again, I do have a computer that's 9 years old, so I can't blame that. All on the internet, but I do, I have this old iMac, and I'm thinking, hang in there. That's funny, Rand. Gord's in the orange room, not the green room. Yeah, we should start calling it the orange room. So, anyway, I do see Gord's in the green room. I can't hear you, Gord, but I see that you're in the green room. Let's continue then, shall we? But before we go with that, would you like to hear some June 21st fun facts?
Yeah, baby, yeah!
I thought so. I thought you'd like to. So let's go through a few of those, because people look forward to that, from what I hear. It's what I hear on the streets, People say they look forward to that. By the way, yesterday was Father's Day, so happy Father's Day to all the fathers and stepfathers and uncles and people who just fill in for fathers. Anyway, hope you had a nice Father's Day. I sure did. Summer solstice, the longest day of the year, was also yesterday at 11:32 p.m. I read that somewhere. What does that mean? 11:32 p.m. was the beginning of summer solstice? I don't know. I guess I should have researched a little bit more. But anyway, yesterday was the longest day of the year, and now the days are going to start to get shorter, and that's okay. It's still nice and late. It's also today Baby Boomer Recognition Day, and I think we have a lot of baby boomers who watch this channel, so I'm recognizing you, Baby Boomer. Good to see you. Glad you're here. I don't know what we do for baby boomers other than say, I recognize you. Baby Boomer is hard to say quickly. It's Go Skateboarding Day. I don't know how many baby boomers skateboard, but it's that day. International T-shirt Day, so I'm wearing a T-shirt. Not much unlike any other day. This one has my MCG logo on it, but you can't see it because it's kind of behind there. Thank you, too, to the folks who have ordered T-shirts and fine merchandise from the merch store, shopmcg.com. You can go there if you're interested and look at some of the cool merchandise. It's also on the merchandise shelf if you watch any of my videos. I've said before, it's not really something I put a lot of effort into, but I do like having the merchandise available, and it's there if you like it. It's also National Day of the Gong. How many people knew that? I bet you didn't know that. Well, that it is National Day of the Gong.
Wasn't a funny joke at all. I'll tell you that was terrible.
Well, it's obvious to this audience you're no ventriloquist.
All the baby boomers remember the Gong Show for sure. Anyway, the Gong. You know, we've kind of made fun of the Gong probably because of the Gong Show, but it's a very highly revered instrument. Did not know that. Let's move on here. I'm going to skip a lot of these. Enough of that. Enough of that. And enough of that. Because you're not here just to listen to me. You're here to meet our guest. So I want to get ready to bring on our special guest. Now, if you've not watched GP Outdoors, and I think that probably most of you have, the channel has been around for, we'll ask GP, I think 4 or 5 years. And again, I found that channel when researching the Kubota B2601 tractor because that's what GP had, and had a series of videos, really well done videos about that tractor. And of course, all those videos are still out there, so you too can watch them. But I just really connected with Gord and his channel, and it was very helpful for me. So let's get ready to bring Gord on in just a moment, but I want to show you a little bit about his channel if you haven't seen it before.
Well, good morning and welcome back to Central Ontario. It's another gorgeous morning here, and apparently it's going to be a scorcher again this afternoon.
Well, good morning. Welcome back to GP Outdoors. Well, good morning. Welcome back to GP Outdoors. Welcome to GP Outdoors. These chains weigh 60 pounds apiece. That's going to add a little more weight for the winter too. Another benefit. As you can see today, it's an exciting day for the channel. We just picked up a brand new LX 2610 cab model. Wow, 50,000 subscribers. Thank you so much for your support. A big burning question, which I've had repeatedly on the channel, is why I got rid of my B2601. Hands down, I love that tractor. It was a good, solid, quality built, reliable tractor, but it was an open station tractor. And being Canadian, you know, we're born and bred to handle winter. But I have to be honest, clearing a mile-long driveway through the forest, sometimes 2 or 3 times in a week, in these harsh Canadian winters, I realized last year it was time to start looking for a cab and a little bit of heat. In the meantime, hey, stop looking at me. Just scoot off the road for a minute. That's it, just for a minute.
Really wanted to thank my neighbor Guy. He was awesome. We had a great week together. At least I did, and I learned a ton of things. We'll see you on the next one. Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers. And thank you so much again for all your support. Means a lot.
It's a lot.
Cheers.
Yeah,
Cheers.
it does. A whole lot.
Cheers, Gord.
Cheers. Now we gotta
Great
clean
to
that
see
up.
you. I'm
You
so
zoomed me in
happy.
there quick. Oh, thank you so much for having me on, Ed. It's a huge privilege, and I know it's been a few months, and we've talked back and forth, and I'm so happy to be with you. You have an awesome channel. I love it. I watch it every
appreciate
time.
that. Gord, I have an idea. You know, I know we had some plans about things to talk about, but
Yeah.
I think we should just spend the night talking about how great each other is, because I think your channel is great. I think you're great. Why don't we just give compliments all night long? I could handle
We
that.
could, but I'd have to put my wife Carol on because she's better at that than I am.
Is she?
And
Okay.
well, I pay her, right? So
Right, right.
29
compliment
years
you.
she put up with me. So, you know, hopefully she's got a few good things to say about me. I'm not sure, but
I'm sure she would. I'm sure she would. Hey, in all seriousness, I am really appreciative of you joining tonight. I'm really excited.
Yeah.
I wasn't joking around when I posted my announcement that I was really excited to have you on, one of my favorite YouTubers, and that is absolute truth.
Thank you so much,
you
Ed.
were
Thank
a huge inspiration for me starting my channel.
good.
Same tractor, you know. It's like I saw that and thought, this is so great, and I just felt like, you know what, now that I bought that tractor, maybe I can contribute a little bit to the
Yeah.
interwebs as well with things that I learned along the way.
No, and you've done a great job. You've got a lot of videos that have a lot of, and I think what a lot of people find useful is a lot of your videos where you're teaching people what you've learned, things that are tips or advice that are not obvious to especially the new tractor owners, and you find them and then you do a video on them to explain to them, here's how you cycle that joystick to disconnect your grapple connections or your front end loader connections, or here's how you need to push into a pile of gravel. These things that people like myself 4 years ago didn't know. I mean, when I got that B2601, it was the first time I'd ever driven a tractor in my life at 56 years old, or I guess back then, you know, if anybody's
Way back then.
54 years old. And I didn't have a clue what I was doing. And so those little tips that you find along the way that you pass on to your subscribers, I think are gold, right? Because we don't know until we learn.
Well, it's interesting because little tips, like even when I put out that short video about the rubber tarp strap, using it to hold up your PTO.
Yeah.
You know, I stumbled across that one day when I was trying to solve that problem, and I thought, well, this is kind of dumb. Like it's so obvious. But then you think, well, you know what? If I didn't realize it, maybe other people didn't realize it either. And you share that little bit of knowledge, and
Yeah.
hopefully it helps somebody.
Well,
So-
it's because I had never in my, it's been about 3.5 to 4 years now, about 3.75 years, and I'd never once heard about that. But as soon as I saw it on your channel, I was like, that makes a lot of sense.
It's just the simple
Because,
things.
you know, that little arm that swings out off the side of the finish mower pulls it to the side and
Exactly.
it hangs into
It's
your
like-
3-point hitch.
It's like, how
Every
can I make
time.
this better? I was trying to think of ways
Yeah.
that I could put 2 of those arms to hold it in the middle,
Yeah.
and it's just
For sure. You
So,
bet.
Hey, I want to just give a shout out to Tony, and thank you, Tony, for that
Tony!
super chat or super sticker, whatever it is. But anyway,
Tony's pretty awesome.
Tony is fantastic. You know, he joined one of our. I don't know if you were on that one. We had a little group group stream going.
Yeah.
And Tony jumped on, some other YouTube content creators. Were you there that night? I know you jumped on one with us.
I don't think I saw. I was on the one with Tony because, as you know, I go to bed pretty early.
I
'Cause
do
go
know
to
that.
bed
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
early.
Appreciate you staying up for us tonight.
Well, I've got my jammies on. I just don't. That's why I put the camera up high so that you guys.
That's right. We
Yeah.
shoot from the waist up. From the waist up.
Right.
But anyway, Tony has another channel that's fantastic. And
He
let me tell
does.
you, Tony, some of the content that you've been putting out, my friend, is documentary style stuff. Like, it's really good, really well done with the voiceovers and the graphics. Really impressed.
Sure. But hey, you know what? Interesting point that I wanted to bring out, if I could add, if that's cool, is
Floor's yours.
over the last over the oh, all right, I'll take it then. Over the last
You can have the whole screen.
8, 10,
There you
12
go.
months, yeah, there's been a lot of channels that have purchased mills, portable mills. And I think, in my own view, I mean, my neighbor Guy, as you know, has a Woodland Mills. It's a HM 126 or whatever. But Guy actually builds furniture for people. He is outstandingly skilled, but he's been doing it for years. He gets full use out of that mill. He only mills hardwood, like cherry wood, maple, ash, etc., and he seasons them for like more than 2 years out on his pile out there. But I saw, I noticed that on YouTube, there's this huge growth or explosion in mills over the last 8, 10, 12 months.
Yeah.
And I saw this comment, and I can't remember if it was on Tony's channel or somebody else's, but somebody said that they foresee in the next year to 2 years, there's going to be a whole lot of mills on eBay or on Kijiji for sale cheap, because people don't actually realize how much work is involved in milling your own lumber. Guy does it, and he's done it for years because he builds furniture, he builds cabinetry and those kind of things. But there's a whole bunch of channels out there with mills. And it's kind of like there's a guy in Ontario that has a channel, and I can't remember his name right now, but he actually did a video on all of the stuff that you don't see on YouTube channels to prep to get that log on the mill, and all the stuff afterwards, including all the cleanup, those slabs that people don't realize is involved in milling your own lumber. And I truly believe that comment is accurate.
I do too. In fact, if I was a more spontaneous person, where's my glasses? I need
No,
to do
don't
that.
try to glasses me out. I already got mine on. You can't go.
I got my readers going here, see, but these are filthy.
No.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I think you're absolutely right about that. Let me first of all interrupt for a moment, because I have to say thank yous to these super stickers, John. Thank you so much for that. Really nice. Edward Joyce, that's really kind. I really do appreciate that. Very nice. So anyway, if I was a more spontaneous person, I think I would have a mill, and a wealthier person too. But besides that, if I had the money and was more spontaneous, I've watched these videos and thought, I think I want a mill. Like, it looks really fun.
it does.
But I have thought through, like, I think it's more work than it looks like. And also, I don't have a forest, so I'd have to get wood somewhere. And what would I really do? I mean, it looks really fun. But stay tuned for an upcoming video, because this could be fun.
Yeah. Well, it is something. And, interesting enough, Ed, if I may, you probably recognize that I started the shed build.
Yes.
Off on the edge of the driveway, just below my property line.
I remember that.
And of course, COVID happened. The cost of pressure wood went crazy, and I had to stop because it was just ridiculously expensive. And I've had so many subscribers saying, well, just hang out with Guy, use his portable mill, grab some wood, mill some boards and some dimensional lumber and build it. But I think what people don't realize, because they don't see on the YouTube channels that have mills, is all of those hours and that manual effort going into the forest, finding the right size trees that have some reasonable length of trunk that's reasonably straight, felling that tree, limbing it, chipping or doing something with all those branches, cutting it into 10 or 12 foot lengths, dragging it back out to the mill, milling those boards, taking care of the slab. And the other thing that a lot of people don't realize is that when you watch those mills work like Guy does, you'll notice that Guy always cleans up afterwards. Because when you're shooting mounds of sawdust in the middle of 35-degree temperatures, that sawdust is a fire waiting to happen if you leave it there. There's a lot more to milling boards than just getting that great dimensional lumber and sticking it and, you know, putting your stuff up and piling it up.
Yeah,
and
you've got to season it and dry it and
exactly. And then, of course, you know, every 2 or 3 years, you've got to retreat the wood. And at my age, you know, going on 57, the last thing I want is maintenance. I do not want to have to go out to that shed every 3 or 4 years and retreat that wood.
That reminds me of a slightly funny story. I have a friend who probably when he was about 57, he lives in a historic home, a beautiful 2-story, maybe 3-story historic home built in the 1800s or so. And he was out there every summer painting the porch, you know, because it's an old home. You know, the windows were all original. He spent his summers maintaining that house. And I remember him saying to me, my next house is going to be all plastic.
Yeah.
He was so done with it. And this house was actually passed down generations. His great-grandfather built it. And he's like, I'm getting a plastic house, man. This is...
Plastic house. It's a Lego house. It's
Exactly.
all Lego.
Yeah.
It's all good.
But
Plus
speaking of the mills,
guy.
what I was going to say is I've got a guy coming here tomorrow. We're going to cut down... I'm not. He's going to cut down this ginormous silver maple. And this silver maple has been here, you know, 60, 70 years. It's basically like 6 trees coming out of one. I mean, they're ginormous limbs. Anyway, he's going to come cut this down tomorrow. I'm going to get some footage of that. I have a friend who has a mill, and I asked him, do you want some of these logs? So he would be interested in some of these logs if we can put them into like 10-foot lengths. So I'm hoping to get some content at the mill, milling up this silver maple. So should be interesting. I'm even thinking about, I don't know about that. Tonight I was thinking about doing a live stream of the tree coming down tomorrow, like just setting up a camera.
Sure.
And people could just check in, because it's going to take several hours. They could just check in throughout the day and see how the live stream's going with the tree. So if you guys like that, let me know in the comments. Give me a thumbs up.
No, for sure. You know,
I think it'll be fun.
Several times I've talked to Guy about, you know, because I've had so much, once I stopped that shed build and I had so many subscribers saying, Guy's got a mill, go out, mill those boards and just build it with free lumber. It's not free.
Yeah.
And I've said to Guy, and we've talked so many times about doing a very long video, because it would be a long video, of how long it takes to set up that tractor, drive over there, pull your stuff, get down 40 acres into his 125-acre forest, find the right tree that has a reasonable length of reasonably straight trunk, drop that tree, limb it, get rid of the limbs one way or another, you know, block it, drag it back out to the limb, slab it, and see how much dimensional lumber you get out of it, and then try to put it to work. And how many times you have to do that in order to build that little simple 10x8 shed.
Right.
It's not what people see on YouTube, and it's great that people have the advice or the suggestions, and I welcome them, of course, as you know, Ed. But I've been with Guy for I don't know how many years now, and Guy uses his mill a ton. But again, he makes spectacular furniture and cabinets. He is so skilled. And so he's told me for years, he does not use he doesn't use a slab that is not seasoned at least 2 years or more.
Wow.
He will not use it otherwise. So when people ask him to build a rocking chair or to build cabinets or to build a table, if he doesn't have wood that's been seasoned at least 2 years, he won't do it until it's seasoned 2 years.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
You know, and speaking of Guy, he is such a neat part of your channel.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know when you introduced Guy, but I know that I saw early on in the comments people saying, "Where's Guy? How's Guy?"
Yeah.
And he seems like a genuinely great friend to have, and certainly skilled. I mean, he's done welding for you or with you. He's a guy of all trades.
Goodness, Ed. You know the old saying, you can't pick your neighbors. I was remarkably fortunate, and there's a very long story as to how I ended up being acquainted with Guy years ago. But he is literally like a modern day MacGyver. He's got an engineering background. He's done a lot of stuff in his career, and he just has a natural, practical approach to solving problems or to fixing things. And he's very, very skilled in so many different areas. And so, I remember back in the early days, when I first started to get to know him and stuff, a lot of the safety or the skills that I've learned, and although I'm not great at, bucking wood and splitting firewood and those things, but it all came from him because he's a very disciplined guy, right? He's old school. He's very disciplined. Like when we're out in the forest, we don't talk. He has hand signals, and you learn those hand signals, and you're always looking for them, right? Because you've got chainsaws going, you've got the tractors going, you've got maybe a splitter going, and everything is hand signals. And Guy is very, very tuned early on to teaching, Bob, me, Bill, Chuck, Ralph. We all know them. So when you're out there working together and you're having a good time together, because it's great when you're out with buddies, but it's also, that's why you don't hear much on my videos, but Guy has signals and you're always watching for the signals because you can't hear each other even if you didn't want to talk, right?
Yeah. Let me ask you something. Actually, remind me to ask you something. First, I want to thank David White for the $2 super sticker. I really appreciate that.
Thank you, David.
A couple questions. David's asking how the Ranch Kids Garden is doing. That was a video. I don't know if you saw that, Gord, but I did a video of a local community garden with one of the nonprofit organizations here, and they have young kids there. Maybe that's redundant to say young kids, but I guess all kids are young. Anyway, they have kids there, and anyway, I just texted Roger, who appeared on the video, and asked him about the garden, and we're hoping to get together one day soon that I can go out and just do a little recording update to see how the garden's doing. But I understand they're doing very well. And the shed update, I took out the back wall, which is, I have that door that opens. I took that wall out the other day. I did record it, but it's not edited yet. And Jamie is the guy who's going to pour the concrete. He's supposed to come Thursday night to prep, and he wants to pour Friday morning. So we've got this tree coming down tomorrow. We've got the shed happening Thursday night into Friday. A lot of things are happening here on this little property. And
oh, nice.
So there's your update. But anyway, David, stay tuned, and hopefully you'll see some updates with that. So anyway, I remembered where I was going. I wanted to ask you something. First question, I want to ask you something about Guy and firewood. First question, though, is do you have a pet bird in your house, or is that outside that I'm hearing that chirping?
It's the windows are open, and there's a ton of birds outside. I don't have a pet bird anymore. I did when I was younger, actually. I had a budgie, and she talked. She was awesome. Because I was alone in my 20s, so I needed something. She was so cute, though. Like, I'd always let her out of the cage. She'd hang out with me. She always talked. She was really cool. But yeah, now it's actually the birds out in the forest.
Nice. I have a coworker who has it's not a parakeet, it's something like that. But we have these Zoom calls at work, and of course he's working from home now. This bird is on his head on every call.
Look at his shoulders and see what's left there.
I'm like, couldn't that bird kind of make a mess? And he said the bird treats my hair like a nest, and they won't mess in their nest.
Yeah, no, they do it on your shoulder.
But the whole call, here he is with this bird on his head. So.
Yeah, that's hanging out.
So, thank you, Edward Joyce. My wife Colleen loves your channel and says hello. Wait, whose channel does she love?
That's very nice. Well, both of them, I'm sure.
Which one is it? I gotta tell you, Gord. People in the comments have compared me to Mr. Rogers, which I think is an ultimate, the ultimate compliment. But
it is.
but I think you're more than Mr. Rogers type, to be honest with
No,
you.
you know what? I think it's you for sure. I got to be honest. You've got the look. Like short of the, and I got to tell you, there's a story because I've had many of those comments on my channel that they say you're the Mr. Rogers of the Outdoors channel.
Uh-huh.
For almost 20 years, probably of my career working in an office, I had, and I'm not kidding you, I literally had one of those sweaters.
A cardigan?
A cardigan. And people would always joke about it because, it gets cold in the office, right? So you're in your office and you're cold. And I had this cardigan in my bottom drawer and I would put it on when it was cold. And people would always say that. And, it was kind of a Mr. Rogers cardigan, I'll be honest. But I remember the one assistant I had, she used to take it when I wasn't looking, and she would take it to the dry cleaner. She would clean it for me and put it back because I'd never washed the thing, right? I'm a guy. I just use it to keep warm.
Yeah.
And
It's not gonna get that dirty.
it's funny because people said that because people at the office, when I wore it around the office, they'd be like, Mr. Rogers. And I'm like, no, Mr. Warm.
That's right.
Yeah, it was a classic.
I'm gonna pull up some questions for you too from the
fire away.
viewers. But my question that I was going to ask you 15 minutes ago was, you do so much firewood cutting, and that wood shed, I guess, is, I don't know if that's at Guy's, but it's packed and it's beautifully stacked.
Yeah.
Now you don't live full time at your cabin there.
No.
Do you burn that much wood, or you do it just for the neighbors, for Guy? Like, that's a lot of firewood.
Yeah. So the honest answer to all of this is yes. So that woodshed you see is at Guy's property. There's also videos you see that where I do it on Bob's property.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Right. Done a little bit for Chuck. Done a little bit last fall for Bill across the concession road. Not much for Ralph yet, but yeah, I don't burn any firewood whatsoever.
Wow.
If I built this cabin 30 years ago when I was younger and we were all, indestructible, I probably would have built it differently. I probably wouldn't have put a furnace in. I probably would have put wood burning stoves in.
Right.
As I got older and, health issues and those kind of things set in, and as I was able to finally save enough money to buy this property, all I knew is I was at a point in my life where I needed heat. The body did. I wasn't young anymore. So I put in a propane fireplace. I put in a furnace, multi-stage furnace in the basement. I've got, I'm off-grid, as you know. However, all the firewood you see is primarily Guy, some of Bob, and some of Bill, and some of Chuck. And the beauty of it is that these guys are a hoot. There is so much you don't see on camera.
I'm sure.
And, when you get up and you have the opportunity to get away from everything in the city, and you got a couple of guys who are like the Muppets up in the, I've said that in one video or two,
Yeah.
where they're up in the two Muppet guys that are up in the balcony. That's Bob and Guy. And that woodshed is Guy's, and we fill it and we kick ass. And the beauty of it is you learn a lot from these guys because they were both born and raised in the rurals. I mean, they've been swinging chainsaws since they were, before they drove cars, right? And I've learned a lot from them, but it's just a lot of fun getting out there with them because they have, an odd sense of humor. I'll say that politely, but it's always a good time. And we always end up at the end of every day in Guy's workshop at the bench, celebrating the day, so to speak.
It's funny you mentioned the odd sense of humor because I was thinking about this even before tonight's program, that I think that there, I believe that the GP we see on YouTube is very sincere, but I feel like there's another GP in there with a lot wilder sense of humor than what we see.
No.
I think there's something in there.
Well, I would say that am I careful about what I do on video? Absolutely. I've had a lot of subscribers who tell me that their families watch or their children watch. And so I'm very careful with what I edit out and what I leave in, recognizing that there are younger viewers on the channel. And I at the end of the day, like, especially as the channel has grown, and don't get me wrong, I'm no Josh at Stony Ridge, and I'm no Mike Morgan by any means yet. But when you know that I've had people have said, you have the only YouTube channel I will allow my children to watch without watching over them or, overseeing them. And that's, whether you want to accept it or not, it's a responsibility. It's a responsibility to say, I got to be careful what's said on the channel. I got to be careful what's shown on the channel, because if there are young minds that are watching that channel, in my view, and maybe it's just me, right? Ed, in all fairness, it's my own values. I'm very careful with what I edit out and what I leave in, because I'm always conscious of there's a young mind that's watching that channel, right? So I do my PPE. I make sure I'm wearing everything I'm supposed to wear. The stuff that happens between me and Guy and Bob, there's a number of times where I felt like doing like a bloopers reel, but some of it may or may not be child friendly, and that's why I've never done it.
So you are the Mr. Rogers of the outdoors YouTube content world.
No, I wouldn't.
And
say
I didn't
that.
even mean that there would be a side of GP that's like needs to be censored. I just mean that there's a little bit, I think, of a wild side in there.
Yeah.
In fact, I thought when I saw your little promo for tonight, I thought I was going to see the Australian accent come out, and I was waiting for a Hacksman style impression.
Wow.
I got to tell you, Adam Hacksman, you do a great Australian impression.
He's hilarious. Like that guy Hacksman, I've never talked to him. Like I've talked to a lot of folks on YouTube through email like yourself, and had phone calls with them over the last 2 years. I've never talked to that guy Hacksman. I don't know what his name is or anything, because of course I've never talked to him live, but honest to goodness, he has this ridiculous, we all have different senses of humor. Mine's very corny. My wife tells me that for 29 years. I have a corny sense of humor. He breaks me up and literally has me falling off my couch on almost every one of his videos. I don't even know the guy.
He was one of my guests, you may have missed that.
Well, he was. I saw that. And, the irony of this channel is Guy has a ridiculous sense of humor that you don't see on the videos. He is too funny most of the time, which I cut out and edit. And, of course, him and Bob going at it in the forest. I'm telling you, that's a video in itself sometimes. It's just I have to be careful that I've got young viewers, and I don't want them to see that. That's all.
It's nice.
A choice. That's all.
Well, I'd like to do another live stream with Hacksman, and maybe we'll do it all in different accents. I think that'd be fun.
There you go.
I don't know if I like the Australian accent or the Southern belle that he does very kindly.
No, I got to tell you though, Ed, if he was living up here beside Guy or beside me, and he was a neighbor, he would fit in like yesterday's oatmeal. Like I tell you, every morning he'd be like me. It'd be like, "Hey, Carol, I have to go out and help Guy." You don't have to, but you want to.
I have to.
Anyway,
so here's a serious question. I've been waiting to call up some questions because folks are making many comments, and I appreciate it. We have over 100 people watching, which is fantastic. I appreciate that. So Chris over here at Watershed Outlook is asking you about managing your travel time. Is it a lot of work for you to? I mean, I know it is a lot of work to create content. It slows down every project. Every project probably takes 3 times as long when you're recording. So this is I think it's a good question. Do you care to answer that question, Gord?
I do. First of all, I wanted to, say to Chris, and I'm sorry for my hat head, Chris. I'm very sorry for your loss lately. It's difficult. It must be, and I'm very happy that you chose to share it with us, because we all think of that. So, on that note, as well, you didn't want me to talk about it. I just wanted to say, I recognize your loss, and Carol and I are both thinking of you and your family because of that loss. And that being said, as it pertains to, the travel and those things, we lived much further north. And so the travel to the cottage or the cabin was much shorter. However, one of the reasons we haven't, I haven't quite, talked Carol into retiring here yet is she's a big city woman. She loves the city. We ended up moving south to the city closer, which of course made the travel up here longer. And, you know, after a little while, you get used to that, right? You do. And I do. I love being up here. And she does as well, but she also loves being down in the city. So the travel you eventually work through. And, you know, Carol is still working. I'm not. And so what I usually do is I plan my time around her schedule. So if she's home for a few days, I'll stay home down in the city. And if she's working for a few days, that's when I come up here. And that's kind of how we balance things out. And that way, because when she works long hours at what she does. And so it helps because that way I can head up here, film some videos, hang out, do my thing, listen to Bob and Guy tell me what I'm doing right and wrong, and have a few laughs. And then I get back home when she's back home. Hopefully that answers the question.
Very nice. And
yeah,
what a gentleman you are, because, you know, I have those sincere condolences for Chris as well. And we've chatted a few times personally. And you know, Chris did obviously share his story openly on his channel about the loss of his brother. And I've been thinking about him as much so. But I go back to you being the Mr. Rogers. I mean, you even took your hat off to talk to him. Look at that.
Well,
I mean,
the thing is, I have an older brother, and he is and has been my best friend in the world since I was about probably 17 or 18 years old. And so I can recognize what Chris is feeling, because he is everything to me. He was my best man at my wedding. He has been my best man since I was in my teens, and all the things, you know, you go through in your teens and your 20s. And he was right there for me the whole way, you know, no conditions, unconditional. He stood up for me through all of those, you know, those growth moments you have as you become an adult. My brother was there. So I absolutely feel what Chris feels. And I'm very fortunate that my brother's still with me, and my heart goes out to him and his family.
That's very kind. I too have an older brother that I love dearly. He's old enough that I was kind of the annoying little brother, you know. But anyway, we still got along. And
No wonder we get along so well.
Right? I would say there was a time that I don't know that he liked me as much as he does now. So,
Well,
but now that we're both older, I love him dearly, and I feel you on that one. So, hey, Flat Creek Outdoors, good to see you this evening. I need to catch up on some of those videos. I hope the new channel is going well. So you should see some of these comments. I think you do. So if you want to pull anything out as you go through, we certainly can. You can mention those. Thank you, Bernadette. You should have your own show on HGTV. I don't know if she's talking about me or you. Again, I think Gord would be great on TV. But
I think we'd be a great
thank
pair.
you for that.
And just so folks know, at that point, I can't respond to any of your comments, but I wanted to say hello to everybody that's said hello to me over those comments. I can sort of see them coming down, but I can't respond to them. So
no, but you can scroll and
yeah,
and you know, if you call one out, I can put it up on the screen. So just know that you can scroll back and forth.
David White, that's a classic. Okay, yeah, no, absolutely, Ed. Thanks.
Yeah. I don't know what you're talking about, but anyway.
No, there was a comment there about it brings you back to Mr. Rogers, which we all grew up with. So, hey, Ed, well, if we're waiting for comments, I wanted to ask you, you did a video on the land plane a few weeks ago. And I wanted to ask you your thoughts on the land plane versus the box blade and its application on your property. Shoot, you're on.
Awesome. Well, I'll tell you, like I did in the video, I did not see the point of a land plane. And my neighbor offered for me to use this land plane. It's funny because I have this neighbor that lives like a mile away, and he somehow found my YouTube channel. I forget how we connected, but I found out that he was local, and he started chatting with me, texting, and you know, he said, "I have this land plane if you need it for your channel." Yeah. Right. And in my mind, I was like, I've got a box blade. What am I going to do with a land plane? You know, nice offer, but I really don't think I need it. And then I did watch some other videos, and I thought, well, maybe I should try it out. So it took like a year before I actually borrowed the land plane. And I got to tell you, it is so different than a box blade when you use it. They look so similar, but in fact, just yesterday I had somebody over at the house,
Yeah.
and he complimented me on the driveway. He said, "Oh, I see you got a load of new stones." I said,
Right
"No,
on.
they're not new stones. That's all from the land plane." I don't know, I don't know how it works, but
Did you,
it kind
Ed,
of stirred
I
up
gotta
the
ask
land
you,
plane.
did you start strutting around with your chest out, like a peacock after that?
Like, thank you very much. As a matter of
There
fact,
you go.
thank you for complimenting my stones. But it brought all these loose stones up to the surface because when
Yeah.
you have a stone driveway, they
Right.
kind of sink or the dirt fills in between. So it stirred them up and it really regenerated all the stone in this driveway and distributed it nicely. And
Does a great job of planing the surface, right, and making it really smooth.
really, I mean, as I said in the video, the driveway I don't think has ever been so smooth. It's even with the box blade, you can get a great job, but you still get these little humps that are
Yeah.
hard to knock out. Where that land plane just
It just
shears
does it.
them off. And do you have one, or have you used one on your mile long driveway there?
I did. So it's kind of an interesting thing, and I'm very fortunate, as you are probably as well, where you've got a lot of subscribers and they have different backgrounds. And I have a number of subscribers that grade highways or municipal roads for a living. The land plane is an awesome instrument, and I'll tell you, because as you probably know, that mile-long driveway through the forest has no foundation or base. It's not a driveway. It's not built properly. It was basically somebody went through there with a big excavator, ripped out the trees and the roots, decades ago. And over the decades, people have put, pit run, C gravel, B gravel, A gravel, crusher run throughout the years, sand through different parts. And so when I had that land plane for a year, for 2 summers, and I had the box blade, what I found was anywhere across that driveway where I had some reasonable level of gravel, despite whether it was A or B gravel or crusher run, the land plane did great, including with the scarifiers. But those areas, especially around the marsh area and stuff, where it's just, pit run, big boulders, sand, the spoils, the land plane was terrible. And it was, hands down it was. I don't care who's grading what or whether I have a lack of experience and they're saying you just don't have enough experience. It did a terrible job. And so what I learned over those 2 summers is that land plane works great when you have gravel. It's not, in my view, as good as managing with the box blade when you get into areas where you're dirt, earth, pit run, sea gravel, and you don't have somewhat of a reasonable base of some type of B or A gravel or crusher run. Right. But when you have it, as you've seen on the channel, that thing is awesome. It has a beautiful way of planing across, and all you got to do is drop it. You don't even
There's no adjustment. No,
you just drop it down and you keep driving.
Because it's made to run flat, so you're not there. It isn't like a box blade where you have to angle it. You want it to drop flat. So Linda's asking the question. There's somebody saying, "Hey, Gord, good to see you." That's from Colin.
Oh, hey, Colin.
Linda's asking the question, "Did you have weeds in the driveway?" I did. I have. If I don't maintain the driveway for a while, run right down the center, you get weeds growing up, and so it cleaned up everything. The only thing, again, I think you need both pieces of equipment if you can. Because the land plane won't let you grade on an angle, I don't think, too easily. Where you could kind of shape the driveway with the blade and then run the land plane.
Yeah, well, you just adjust your 3-point hitch. That's what
just the angle.
Adjust the angle. If you're doing if you're trying to put a crown in or whatever.
Yeah, but if you're dropping it,
it just
drops. So, David, thank you so much.
Job.
He's saying that the box blade is like a shovel or hoe. Land plane is like a steel or aluminum wide rake. That's true. They have specific jobs.
Agreed.
So, anyway, I borrowed the land plane, so I don't have that. I'm sure my neighbor would let me borrow it again, but for the most part,
the beauty.
When things get rough, right?
It's like me or Guy or Bob. You sure? He's got a land plane. You got a box blade.
Close enough to drive the tractor to it, which is great. So
you bet. Yeah,
it was good. Let me look here. Gord, because I was curious about. You kind of answered the question about why you chose the LX 2610. You sold the beloved B2601. I agree with you that the B2601 is really well made. It's almost perfectly suited for my needs. There are times if I could go a little bigger, I think I would, and I like that LX is just a nudge bigger. Have you found that to be beneficial? Like, is it enough of a difference? Not that I'm going to sell an upgrade, but
you should. Yeah, absolutely. It was. I love my B2601.
I don't need heat. I can handle it.
It was.
I'm a little younger than you.
Wicked workhorse. It was a great tractor, but I'll be honest with you. I think that we all age at different times. And being born and raised here in Canada, I've never lived anywhere else, right, but Ontario in my life. And, whether it's snowmobiling or, skiing or whatever it is in the winter, your body, you dress for it, right?
Right.
But last winter, I recognized probably around mid to late January that I couldn't do this anymore. Like negative 37 degrees Celsius, and you're plowing a mile-long driveway in a severe cold day. And I'm out there, trying to warm my hands on the exhaust pipe for the umpteenth time. And I just realized that, my body's not what it was. And I'm not saying I'm getting old. Heaven knows I am not getting old, by the way.
No way.
So don't put that on YouTube. But at the end of the day, I realized that I needed to start thinking about a cab. And I talked to the guys at Larkin, where my dealer, and they're awesome guys. It's a family-run business. And he would not sell me a cab 3.5 years ago or 4 years ago when I ordered the B2601. He said, it's your first tractor. You're spending a lot of your time in the forest. I'm not selling you a cab. He refused to sell me a cab back then.
Wow.
And what he said was, and it was a big joke because, you get to know the guys at the park desk and Jim and the guys out in the backyard doing the mechanics. And it became a joke because I'd go in for my parts every few months or whatever. And I'd say, are you guys going to sell me a cab yet? And then Sid or Roger would look at me and go, nope, not yet. Keep working. We're watching your channel. And I'd go back at it. And finally, I went up to him and I said, guys, I'm getting too cold. And they're like, you might be ready for a cab now. So then that girl, Kelsey from Kubota USA, started putting out those YouTube videos on their new LX model. Mm-hmm. So I started talking about the guys about the LX. Aside from the hydraulic line, which honest to goodness is pretty brutal.
It sounds loud in the videos.
It's not pretty. But the fact is, I've learned from my subscribers to wear hearing protection, and I've got my isotunes, and now it's not a problem because I don't really hear it. You guys hear it on the, on the audio when I talk in the cab, but I don't actually hear it anymore, so it doesn't matter. But the extra 700 or 800 pounds, the additional lift capacity, and more importantly, the 3-point hitch capacity and the towing capacity in the back definitely kind of suits my property or my needs much better. But that B2601, I love that tractor. I still love that tractor because, it kicked butt. Well, you have one. I mean, it's a workhorse. Every time you turn the key, it starts. Every time you try to lift something, it'll try to lift it. And I only have 4 acres.
Almost.
Well, just about.
I did bend my loader. You might remember that.
Well, I was going to say that goes to our insurance point, isn't it? You had K-TAC, right?
I had K-TAC, and I was thankful I had it.
Yeah.
I learned the limitations of the B2601 the hard way, and I take total responsibility for that. I don't think that you would have a problem with that tractor if it wasn't for the grapple that I had on there, because the problem I had, and I explained it in the video, was that I clamped down on this tree, and now you've got this fulcrum happening and leverage, and that's basically what happened was I overdid it. So
yeah, but you know what, the beauty is, Ed, and this is one of the things I appreciate about your channel is you don't put on errors, and you don't. Like some other channels similar to my own, you don't edit out the things that you do wrong.
Did you see some of the comments about me?
Well, Very similar to mine. But the beauty is that, when you have a subscriber base that you're building and you're honest with them and you don't edit out the bad parts and show them how beautiful, it's like bucketing gravel or doing anything. You have the opportunity, as you know, to edit out all the bad buckets and only show the beautiful full buckets you're doing.
Right.
But the fact is, you're never going to learn, especially from a subscriber base, that a lot of people have decades of experience. And similar to myself, I don't ever edit out the bad stuff. You put up with some of the trolls coming through and those kind of things, but you show everything, because then you've got guys that have, or people, whether it's women or men, that have decades of experience saying, hey, you know what, Ed, you did these two things right, but the next time you do it, change this and try it this way.
Right.
That's how you learn, right?
Yeah. And I shared this story on a recent live stream. I had one comment recently. The person had referred to me, I believe, as an idiot, and I tend to leave the negative comments up there unless they're vulgar, unless they're insulting somebody else, or if the language is foul, I'll delete it. But otherwise, I can take a hit. It's all right if you can insult me a little bit, but anyway.
Yeah.
I don't respond to those negative comments. I try to respond to every comment that comes in because, again, we're building that relationship, and I do appreciate it. But the negative ones, a lot of times I just leave it, let it go. But I was in a mood one day, in a good mood, and I was responding to a lot of comments, and I responded kindly to a few of those negative comments. And this particular comment, I thanked the person for their input. And, because it was more than just you're an idiot. It was like, you're an idiot and you should do this or whatever it was. So I thanked them for their input. And I just said, hey, we're all here to learn together. And that person actually responded and said, I'm sorry that I called you an idiot. And it was nice. Now, I don't know if that person's watching tonight, but I appreciate that they actually apologized and said, I shouldn't have used that word. And
no, but you know what? It's kind of nice when you see that, because it happens from time. And that's the thing, is like, you've got, because you remember, every time you post, you're posting to potentially 6.7 billion people in the world, right?
Right.
Notwithstanding, toddlers, right? So everything you throw out there,
they're all out there. That's right.
Yeah. And whether, and I've always noticed that when I get trolls coming through, which doesn't happen very often, or people with names in it, it's usually in the late mornings of a Friday or Saturday night, most likely after they've caught up with their friend Jack, they end up posting something. And there's those times when, like, you respond back in kind and just say, like you said, I'm trying my best, and I appreciate any, suggestions you have. And they'll be like, you know what? Me and Jack Daniels had a little bit too much time together last night. I'm really sorry for what I said. And yeah, I can offer you this.
Right.
And it's cool. And the guys that are, like you said, I've had so many folks that I've talked to over the last 3 years that have started channels, and they're upset because of the trolls or the nasty comments that come through. And I've always said, if you don't have a thick skin, don't start a YouTube channel.
Yeah. Because
you got to remember, it's all anonymous, right? You don't know who these people are. They're anywhere in the world, and they'll say whatever they want. It's like this guy that sent I had a message about a week and a half ago, and you can tell that when it's a troll, because they'll either attack one of your subscribers for what they said, or they'll say something about you. And his YouTube handle was Fishhook. And I saw the comment, and it was definitely one that wants to inspire or incent a very nasty or defensive response. And then as soon as I saw his handle, I was like, troll.
Nice.
Trying to start an argument or some kind of a conflict. So I deleted the guy.
Nice. And I do think sometimes people make comments, and maybe they're a little naive and don't realize, like, holy cow, there's a person behind this channel. Like, they might leave a comment because they do it in what is it, third person, when they're like, this guy is this or that. Like, instead of saying you are, they'll say this guy is. And I think sometimes when you respond, they might be like, oops, I didn't realize there was a real person behind this, and it might kind of throw them off a little bit. So
Yeah, there you have it. But hey, so a lot of people are looking for stickers for some reason.
You
You got
know,
stickers?
I was thinking about that. I see.
Are you trying to, do you have stickers and you didn't tell me about those stickers?
You didn't know about the stickers, Gord?
Yeah, I knew about them.
Sticker time.
It's sticker time.
I didn't get the stickers out, so bear with me a
what?
sec.
Okay.
Off camera again.
Well, I'm telling you, they're looking for the stickers. And you got to please your subscribers. There's a lot of great comments down here and a lot of questions. Leafs versus Habs, no comment, because I don't want any thumbs down on my next video. But all I can tell you is it's a classic, challenge, and I'm loving every minute of it. That's all I can say.
Do you know that I remember which video got my very first thumbs down? It sticks with you, but I remember seeing that first thumbs down because my channel was pretty new, and I'm like, who would do that? It was so hurtful, and I do have my skin is thicker than it used to be years ago.
Well,
But you think you're ready for it, but it's like now it's no big deal. And I always joke on these live streams that there's always this one person who feels compelled to come on here and give me a thumbs down. That's all right. But that's why I let them know you can always unclick that if you made a mistake.
Yeah, but you know what? You're always going to get them. You just have to look past it. And if you're doing things as you do, Ed, from the heart, and you're sincere, and you're not, clickbaiting people, and you're doing things honestly the way you do them on your property, which is what people look for, right? Same as I look for is what are the things you're doing on your property that I do, and you're very genuine. Yeah, there's like Logan Paul and that other guy that's got a bazillion, subscribers, and they're thought leaders and all those things. And maybe one day we'll be thought leaders. Maybe one day we'll be hanging out at the top of the YouTube chain.
Maybe.
Sharing our thoughts, and people will be like, "Oh, that guy is an incredible thought leader." But for now, you just be yourself, buddy, and that's what you are.
Hey, and you have grown. I mean, I know you're past 50,000 subscribers, which is exciting. I don't know what your current number is. You probably do. What's your current number?
Just past 52.
52. Now, what's amazing is you went from 25 to 50. Like, it seems like that. I feel like I remember your 25,000.
It's funny the way it works, right? And the interesting thing, which a lot of subscribers don't realize, is that there are a lot of channels that pay companies to get subscribers, right? And I don't know if you've been hit with it yet, but you'll start getting inundated by people offering you, for X amount of money, they'll somehow create 10,000 subscribers on your channel. YouTube just, again, every year, about 2 years ago, they sent out a notice saying we're scrubbing out all these scammed accounts. Mm-hmm. And if you watch those certain channels, you'll notice that they dropped dramatically in subscriber counts. I've never dropped at all.
That's nice.
Well, I'm happy because number one, I've never paid for subscriber counts or fake, robo accounts. And number two, I've got a slower growth, and I recognize that I could have, there's a number of things I could have done differently to get more money or to do things quicker. But I'd rather build organically with people that I love talking to every week. And it's kind of where I sit. And it's a different growth strategy. It doesn't mean the other one's wrong, by the way. It just means it's different for each person.
Right. I did get an email the other day, and the email was from I don't think it was, it seemed like it was coming from a person. And they were telling me they loved my Instagram account. They loved my photos. Like they said, like we can get you hundreds. We love it. I'm thinking they must have been talking about the bee sting photo, because that's probably the most artistic one. I happen to still have that on the screen here. Remember this one?
Oh. Yeah, not your best photo.
No,
but
that's my. I should make that my Instagram profile. By the way, I haven't seen John Ritter. I wanted to thank you, John, for encouraging me to post that picture. So
yeah.
Anyway, Ross on the land, you made it. It's 8:10. You came on at 8 or 9. You're gonna just tune into the end here.
Stickers. He needs the stickers.
Oh yeah, he's here for the stickers. So here are the stickers.
Whoa, that was awesome.
2 3-inch stickers and one or two 5-inch, one 3-inch
Right.
vinyl.
Good for,
high quality.
in my view, good to put on your toolbox that you've had since you were 18, like myself,
Very nice.
or put on your tractor or any other type of equipment you use regularly so you can reference my cluttered garage.
Excellent. And I have to thank, again, there have been a few viewers who have won the stickers, and then they went on to put out videos showing themselves applying the stickers, which is
Nice.
great.
Which would be pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. I think Tractor Talk with Gary did it,
Nice.
he's farming and he's always working late, so he doesn't catch these live streams a lot of times.
Yeah.
And then Mitch doing stuff, MJA,
Mitch.
did a funny little video applying the sticker, really creative. And I think, Phil, Peterson Farm of Little Nashville,
Cool.
did a video. Not Nashville, Tennessee. We always make that clear.
What Nashville is it?
Did you know there was more than one Nashville?
No, because I've actually been to Nashville, Tennessee. It was the best time of my life ever.
Did you go to the Grand Ole Opry?
Oh my God, I didn't.
Ah,
I actually was down there on business. If I could offer this story, and I'll try to make it short, just
You
give
know
me
what?
the high sign when I'm
the
talking.
time is, you're the one who's got to go to bed. I'm up
Holy
late.
crap.
That's fine.
Well, it's okay because I've already got part of my Spider-Man pajamas on, so I'm just about ready to go.
You're ready.
I'm up since 2:30 this morning. But I got invited to this vendor we dealt with who had a huge, massive plant in Tennessee. That night, we're hanging around the bar in the hotel, and somebody says, we should go downtown Nashville. And I'd never been in my life. I am telling you, without a word of a lie, out of my entire 57 years, it was probably the best night of short of my wedding to Carol, which was, of course,
Good catch.
the best time. Whew, thanks for
And
giving
then
me
the
that.
birth of my children. But then,
and the birth of my children. But we went to, believe it was called Broadway Avenue, and the bars, all the doors are wide open, and every bar has these awesome upcoming bands trying to make it, playing in every bar, and it was absolutely the best night of my entire adult career. We just went from bar to bar down Broadway, and every bar you've got these awesome bands playing great
talent just
music.
oozing out
Oh,
the
it was
doors.
outstanding. And there's a place called it wasn't Dueling Pianos. It was two pianos and these guys that played pianos and took requests. But
Sounds like
you
dueling
know,
pianos. Everything you're describing
yeah,
sounds
but I
like
can't
dueling
remember the name. It
pianos.
wasn't called Dueling Pianos, but either way, honest to goodness, I went back to the hotel that night. It was literally the best night of my adult life.
Nice.
We had such a great time.
What do you call it when there's two pianos and two guys and they're battling? It's not dueling pianos there.
Okay, it might be Dueling Pianos. I can't remember. But it was awesome. What a great,
My
beautiful.
wife and I went to Nashville. We had gone to I have family down there,
Yeah.
so we went to a wedding and then we slipped over to Nashville. We caught the Grand Ole Opry in the old Ryman Theater. You know, there's a new Grand Ole Opry and an old Grand Ole Opry. In the wintertime, I don't know if they still do this. This was 10 years ago, but in the wintertime when the tourism was down, they would hold the Grand Ole Opry in the old Ryman Theater, which was the original Grand Ole Opry.
Yeah.
And then in the summer when tourism is up, they have this new Grand Ole Opry, which is a bigger facility. So we went to the old one, and we were told like that's the best show because it's a lot more intimate. It's an old church basically, and we watched the show, and the lights came on, and we're like, that was the best show we had ever seen, and we're starting to walk away, and the usher said, it's only intermission, don't you? And we're like,
Oh, wow.
really? Oh my gosh! Like that show was so good, we thought it was over. Like, and then we came back for another hour.
There's incredible.
But hands down, the best live
down.
show I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, and similar. Every bar we went into, like, let me rephrase that in case my kids are watching. Every establishment we passed through along Broadway, the talent was outstanding.
Yeah.
And these are all young bands trying to get discovered, and absolutely outstanding music, outstanding, great times. It was a really wonderful night in my life. Like I'll never forget it to this day.
As nice as all that is, Phil of Peterson Farm of Nashville is not from Tennessee. He's
Oh,
in
well.
he's in Nashville, Indiana. So
Oh,
all this talk about how great Nashville is. Sorry, Phil, wrong Nashville.
yeah. Sorry, Phil.
I'm sure that was nice
There you
too.
go.
I did see one more comment because I wanted
Yeah.
to recognize. Thank you, Tractor Man 44, for being here.
Oh,
And
oh man, Weddle's awesome.
what a great
I love that
channel.
guy. Good heavens!
I've learned a
keep trying
lot.
to egg him up to Canada, Ed?
Yeah, I think
Keep
so.
trying to like leave little things for him and the missus to go on a road trip and come up, because I promise, if you're still on T, I will honestly, you'll be treated like royalty. I'll drag you up here with Carol and the kids. I will, honest to goodness, you can put your feet up for the weekend. You'll never have to do a thing. We'll
Listen, Tractor Man, you need to just ask for subs. It's okay. Don't pay for them, but there's nothing wrong with asking people to subscribe. He has a great channel.
He
and
has
such a nice demeanor and great way about him. Such a great teacher. So for those of you who are watching, make sure you check out Tractor Man 44 when you leave this live stream, and subscribe to his. I'll ask for him. Subscribe to the channel, please.
Yeah, absolutely, it's great. And you know what? Him and Guy, they're honestly, they're like finger and thumb. Like they're so much alike, it's not funny.
Nice. Yeah, he definitely.
I'm not going to tell you which one's better looking. That's for the ladies.
That's up to the viewers to decide.
There you go.
So, so I would come see you, Gord, but I don't know that our travel trailer could come down that steep hill you have on that 1 mile driveway. You know, I know that it's hard for you to capture that on video, but I know that you have a hard time with that hill.
As long as you have trailer brakes, you'll be okay. If you don't have trailer brakes, I'm pretty sure it's going to push you into the forest.
All right, well.
Yeah, but love to have you, Ed, for sure.
That'd be great. I would love it. We could just park by the lake there.
Yeah, for sure.
Our Tractor Man's still on. He's still on. Good.
Oh yeah. You know what? I guarantee you right now, he's blushing. His Mrs. Tractor Man is probably looking at him going, "My goodness, you're like such a little boy." Because I'll bet you his cheeks right now are super rosy red.
Mrs. Tractor Man.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, good. Let's all right. Well, Tractor Man, check out your subscriber count after this. We'll see if we get you a few.
Yeah.
So, should we do the sticker giveaway? I got a little distracted there.
Do it.
So the way that we've been doing this is StreamYard has a giveaway tool, which is really kind of neat because we can put it up on the screen and everybody gets an equal chance to win. I'm going to repeat myself, but I'm going to share a phrase with you, and you're going to type this phrase in the live chat comments, and it doesn't matter if you type it 1 time or 10 times. It's going to exclude the other 9 times. So you only have to type it once. If you have won stickers in the past, you are disqualified from winning. So please don't participate in the drawing if you've won the stickers in the past. I've not seen John Ritter on here tonight. It's a running joke. Everybody's waiting for John to win the stickers.
Yeah, he's trying.
He's trying. So, but
while you're doing that, I'm going to sneak away for 1 minute. Is that cool?
That's very cool.
Okay.
So
right
I'll come on here myself. So I'm going to give you this comment. Again, this is for the live stream only. If you're watching it in the replay, obviously it won't work. You'll type the comment exactly as I show it to you. If you've won in the past, please don't participate because you'll be rejected. I reserve the right to reject any and all entries. And I think that's going to be it. So here's what you're going to do. And also, it doesn't matter who types the comment first because the random comment picker is going to go through. So it doesn't matter if you're the first person to post it or not. Good try, David White. That wasn't it, though. And I'm sorry that Gord stepped away because here's what I did. I was trying to think of like a Canadian word that I could share. And since Gord's from Canada. So anyway, here's what's going to happen. I need to share this screen. Where is it? Bear with me. Share screen. I wasn't quite ready for this. I'm usually much more prepared, aren't I? Giveaway tool. Okay, so here's what you're going to do. You're going to type in the comments. There we go. You're going to type in the comments exactly as you see this. Where is it? There we go. You're going to type in the comments, hashtag A, as they say in Canada. Hashtag EH lowercase, just like you see it. Type in hashtag A. Here he comes. He's back.
Oh,
Thought I had you off screen there. A.
is that a
So-
Canadian reference?
That is I was trying to think of the most Canadian word I could come up with, and that was it. I should have asked you earlier what it is. I was reading up a little bit, but
A pretty much does it. Yeah.
A, right? So the way this works, Gord, is folks are typing in the comments hashtag A, and then we're going to choose
Oh, nice. Yeah,
The
well, there's
winner
a whole bunch of them.
from that.
Yeah, it's funny.
So-
I try my best not to say it on my videos, although it's difficult, which is why I do so many retakes.
Well, I mean, it's endearing. So I think I
Yeah.
noticed that your Cheers tagline. A lot of folks say that. That's not necessarily Canadian, apparently.
It's not actually. It's just my wife's side of the family is English from London, from England.
Ah, tally
And
ho.
so, when you live enough decades with people saying cheers, it starts to catch on, right?
I like it, and there's not too many other ways to end a video. Like it's hard to come up with a better word than cheers. I don't use it because you use it and other people use it, and I don't want to be a copycat.
No, but feel free. If you want to cheers people, cheers them. The nice thing about cheers is, unlike A, it, in my view, similar to the folks from England and stuff, is it leaves you with a positive kind of, wish you well kind of an ending.
It is
That's
nice.
why I use it. Right.
Cheers. I don't have my mug here with my
Well,
printed
mine's
logo,
empty, but I'm happy to raise it for you.
Very nice. Well, I didn't have my printed mug. I've got my Elvis mug here.
Oh, thank you very much.
So, we also took a trip to Memphis a few years ago, toured Graceland,
Nice.
and I really I'd wanted to see Graceland my entire life, so it was very exciting for me. And the odd thing is, they give you an iPad with a guided tour by John Stamos. And,
wow.
My iPad wasn't working, so I think I missed most of Graceland because I'm fiddling with this iPad the whole time. I want to go back, but anyway,
That's
Memphis
pretty
was
cool.
a lot of fun.
So, quick question.
We went to Beale
Date
Street.
Elvis died.
What's that?
What was the date Elvis died?
It was August
Yes,
something,
and
1977.
16th. There you go.
You know the date, huh?
I loved Elvis, man.
That's impressive. Who doesn't?
Giddy up.
Yep, good stuff. I have. I didn't know that his birthday is January 1935.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep.
Touche, my friend.
I
Touche.
think somewhere like 7th, 8th, somewhere in there. But yep, January. Anyway, I loved touring Graceland. My wife thinks I'm weird, but I said I'd like to go back and see it again. And
Really?
what's fascinating about it is you think about the Graceland Mansion. It's not a big house. Like I've
really?
been in people's houses that are
really?
bigger than Graceland.
Really?
It's a very modest home, and it's
I
very
didn't know that.
it's very cozy and very comfortable.
Big acreage, though? Like big lands or big property?
No, not anymore. I don't know what he had, but it's only on a couple acres.
Really?
Yeah.
Ah, I didn't know that.
Yep.
Wow.
But beautiful place, and I would like to go back. Anyway, we went to Beale Street too, and the same thing that you're talking about with Nashville. The talent and the music coming out of Beale Street is incredible. What a good time. How many A's do we have?
We have 55, it says.
55, Not bad,
Hey. All righty.
I'm sorry. I make fun of John Ritter too from Minnesota because I like the way he talks too.
There you go.
So we're gonna have to hit draw here momentarily. Do you think we've given folks enough chance here to?
Well, I'm pretty sure you have more than enough. And I got to tell you one thing. For the last roughly 20 years of my career, I did a lot of travel down in the United States. And Ed, you would not believe how many times I was in a meeting and people would talk about my accent. And I'd be like, I don't have an accent. You guys have an accent. Whether you're in Boston, New York,
Right.
or you're in California, or you're in Texas, they're like, well, you have such a great accent. And I'd be like, I don't have an accent. But apparently we do, eh?
You do, but yours is not super strong, that's for sure, and at least not based on the movies I've seen.
Pretty funny, actually. Yeah.
I live in New Jersey, and people make fun of New Jersey for the northern New Jersey accent. I live in southern New Jersey, and apparently we have a bit of a southern accent here.
Wow.
I was talking to somebody at work, and she was like, "Where are you from?" And I'm like, southern New Jersey. She's like, oh, I was thinking like Alabama or something. So
There you go.
Anyway.
And David, no, I don't drink warm beer. I always like mine ice cold. And if it's not cold, I put cubes in the glass.
One last chance here to type #A in the
There
comments
you
to
go.
win the stickers.
58 ready to go, man.
Look, I'm hovering over the draw button,
All
and last week I had some sound effects. I forgot to get it, but people are getting tired of this. So I'm going to hit the draw. Here we go.
Here we go.
Bam. Who's it going to be? Who
Survey
is
says
it going to be?
Oh, and hey, O&D Life is on tonight. Want to say hello.
Oh, nice.
Been a long time. And Frankie's on, and Mike.
M9. That's Mike?
Yeah. That's
Congratulations,
so
Mike.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
You know what I forgot to mention in the disclaimer? I hope Mike is from the States or Canada. Is he?
I'm pretty sure he's in the States. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I forgot to mention that you had to be from the United States or Canada because I don't want to be shipping stickers around the world.
Yeah. It costs a lot, and there's a lot of paperwork. That's for sure.
So here's what you're going to do, Mike. I'm glad you told me his name there. You're going to send me an email because I need to connect with you. I'm going to need your mailing address, your name. Let me know that you won. So shoot an email to contactmcgtv@gmail.com. Again, contactmcgtv@gmail.com. It's a long name, I know.
No, but did you see his note at 8:25? It says, in the likely event that I win, I'll have you pass it on to John.
Oh, that's very kind, but John wants no handouts.
Mike, man.
No,
Mike,
John wants no. I even offered, because John was my very first live stream guest, and I even offered to send him stickers, and John said, no, I'm going to win this thing fair and square. So thank you, Mike, but offer declined. So
no, you said, Mike, take those stickers, buddy. You're in Wisconsin. You're not too far.
That's right. You could deliver
John
them. If you
gets lots of great stuff. Look at that company he's got the grapple from and stuff.
Yeah. So anyway, shoot me an email. Let me know that you won. Tell me your name and mailing address, and I'll get them right out to you. And I like Margaret's comment there. You won, eh?
Yeah.
Must be Canadian.
Yeah. Well,
all right, let me lose this and lose this and lose this. How about that? There we are. So, listen, Gord, anything else that you wanted to share with the guests? We ran almost 30 minutes overtime, which I'm fine with.
I'm real sorry for holding everybody up. I am pretty punchy. I know I've been up since like about 20 after 2 this morning. And I got to tell you, I got to share you this one story, if that's okay, Ed.
Fine with me. People can drop off if they need to, but I think they're enjoying this.
Well, I hope so. But yesterday was Father's Day. And of course, I have 3 daughters, and everybody came home, which was, as you get older, it's a big gig, right? Because they're all, starting their lives and stuff. And of course, I have to do my dad thing, right? So, you don't get to do a lot because as they start to get independent, it's kind of like you're infringing, right? So my youngest, of course, is so sweet. They're all sweet. And, I got to go check the oil and check the fluids in the car because that's my job, man. So
right.
I pull the car out, I do the fluids and everything, and she's down oil because I know that car. We've had it for 6 years, right? And she's driving it now, and I know it burns oil. It burns oil all the time. Filled up the oil, did it all, done. A couple of hours later that night, they all go home. And so I literally wake up out of a cold, dead sleep, straight up in bed at around 2:15 to 2:30 this morning. And I'm like, did I put the oil cap back on that valve cover? And I can't remember because, you do things for 30, 40 years. It's just kind of, it's reflex. You don't think about it. And I could not for the life of me remember if I put the oil cap back on the end, on the valve cover, right? So I am just dying. Like I'm flipping, I'm flopping. I'm like a fish out of water, right? It's 2:30 in the morning. I could not sleep all night. I text her. And I'm 2:30 away. Well, because I couldn't sleep, right? I had to know, are you stuck on the side of the highway and the engine, seized up and, you've got a tow truck going on or you got in an accident? Anyways, good lover. 20 after 7 this morning, she texts me back and goes, LOL, which I understand is laugh out loud.
Yes, it is.
Yes, Dad. you put the oil cap back on the engine. I just checked it. Everything's good. It's nice and tight. Thank you so much. Love you. Meanwhile, I've been up since 2:30
Wow.
and I'm still up.
Don't you think she would have texted you if she had a problem?
Well, you'd like to think so, but then you're thinking, did you get in an accident? She's in the hospital. You know, it's your kid,
Oh,
right?
wow,
So you're
yeah.
like, you know, all I need to know, did I put the cap back on the oil? You know what I mean? But, you know, 57. I'm not 87, but there's stuff that's happening, you know? You kind of forget because you just do it naturally and you don't think about it.
Well, as you say, we all age at different times or whatever
There
that's
you have
saying.
it.
That was really philosophical. When I heard you say that, I had to, it was a head scratcher. Like, wait a minute, we age at different
It is.
times. Like,
Well, it's like the old saying, Ed, like your kids are always your kids. No matter how old they grow, they're always your children.
truth.
And
Hashtag truth.
there is hashtag truth. But Ed,
LOL.
I've been holding you guys way too long and talking way too much. Thank you so much for having me on tonight. It was a pleasure. Love your channel, and I really appreciate you asking me to come on. It was awesome.
One more question for you.
Whoa!
Will you do this again? Will you come back and see us again?
Absolutely, I will. Yeah,
Excellent.
anytime that we can schedule it, I would love to come on.
Excellent. I'm sure that the folks out there watching have enjoyed this tremendously. I hope they enjoyed it as much as I did. We could just
I hope so.
keep chatting. So I think we should have a part 2 sometime in the future, maybe even after the summer when things slow down. Maybe, I don't know, well, maybe they don't slow down for you because you're cutting firewood, but for me, they slow down.
Yeah, well, they start speeding up now, that's for sure.
Yeah. So anyway, I
I got a
sincerely,
special, I'm not going to say it, but there's something big and special coming in this firewood season, which I cannot say right now, but it's going to be huge.
he's
That's
getting a
all I
sawmill.
can tell you. Not saying. All I'm telling you is that this firewood season in the fall is going to be
Gonna be big, huh?
out of control.
You have had so many different splitters and the I know we need to end this thing, but you had that inertia splitter or something that was interesting, right?
Mhm.
Where where it would like wind up and
Kinetic,
crash. Kinetic, that's it.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Very interesting. So no, I look
But
forward.
this fall, when we hit firewood real heavy, something big is going to blow out of the forest that you guys are. It's going to blow your mind.
Awesome.
It's going to be awesome. I
I
just can't
too,
tell you what it is yet.
I too am not a firewood burner as much as I would like to be.
Yeah.
We have a gas fireplace and oil heat, and I just have a fire pile or bonfire and fire ring, but I am also not a firewood consumer. Anyway, Gord,
Yes, sir.
sincerely, thank you so much. This was
And thank
one
you.
of the best times I've had doing a live stream. No offense to my other guests. I'm really glad that you were able to join me tonight. Each live stream is different, and I really have enjoyed chatting with you, and I look forward to keeping in touch and chatting again.
Thank you.
So thank you, everybody, for watching. Stay tuned for videos from me, from Gord. We'll have good content coming up. And as always, I really look forward to seeing you next time.